everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. It is a gorgeous day here today. A little chilly this morning, but we're okay with that because we know the heat's coming in just a couple of weeks. Well, I hadn't done a shop walk around in a couple of weeks, so I wanted to take you through and show you some of the cars that we've been working on, some of the cars we're currently working on, and cars that are lined up for future work. To start off today, we have a 1978 pace car. This car is owned by the brother of one of our employees, and he had had it to a couple of different shops up in Atlanta, Georgia, and on the way to Tampa as he drove it, the car kept losing brake pressure. He would just soft pedal, soft pedal, soft pedal, even though the braking system's completely new. So he dropped it off here to us. We went in, we did a really deep bleed, full system flush. We were concerned that the master cylinder might be bad, but they'd replaced it twice in the last week. At the previous shop. So we're like, that's probably not it. They probably just weren't getting a really good bleed on it, because there's a lot of weird stuff you have to do on these cars to get a good bleed, like take a rubber mallet and whack the calipers while you're bleeding them to get all the air bubbles out. So we did our super good bleed on this car, and now we've driven it about 100 miles at this point. Brakes are fine. That's probably going home today. Guys, we did it. We made it to 70,000 subscribers. Now, I know when you look at people like Mr. Beast or Doug DeMuro who have millions of subscribers, that doesn't seem like a lot. But when you look at our tiny, tiny cross-section in the market and how specialized we are, 70,000 is huge. Now, you guys have really, really stepped up, and you've been spreading the word about the channel. And my goal, as I've stated in previous videos, is I want to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is one of my personal For Lyle goals. And if you appreciate what we do, if you find what we do useful, or you even find it mildly entertaining, pass it along to your friends, pass it along to your other Corvette Club members, whatever, and make sure that they are actually hitting the subscribe button. As I've said before, we're never going to try to bombard you with emails. We're never going to send you a bunch of sales stuff. The only time you're going to see us is when you come to actually visit us on YouTube. We're not going to bother you, but hitting that subscribe button costs you nothing and helps us immeasurably. So thank you so much for your support to get us so far. And if you can help me get just a little bit farther, together we can achieve this fantastic goal. And I very much appreciate your support. Thank you. This is a 2019 C7 Stingray. It is owned by a very nice lady from Alabama. Brought the car down to us for a torque tube rebuild because she wasn't sure she could trust her local dealer to do it up there. Probably a very good choice. She also went ahead and replaced the drive shaft that was in the car with the unit from Hinson Motorsports that actually deletes the couplers completely. And part of the reason she did that is she's got 120,000 miles on this thing. She has driven it a lot, and she plans on driving it a lot more, and didn't want to deal with the couplers coming apart again in the future. Test driven, ready to go, just needs to be wiped down a little bit. She's going to be coming to get that Monday. We're very happy to get it back to her because she was worried that no one could solve that problem or do it right. We did. Then we have this Millennium Yellow 2000 Coupe. It is in for a front engine kit, which is the harmonic balancer, belts, tensioners, idler pulleys, front crank seal, pinning the balancer. And I think he's got a pretty severe oil pan leak, which is common with these cars with age. So while we have access with the engine cradle out of the way, we're probably going to go in and do the oil pan gaskets and an oil change. But overall, really nice cruiser car. The Millennium Yellow cars, I think, have aged really well. The paint doesn't seem to be as prone to fading in the Florida sun like some of the others, like their black or their electron blue. Yeah. Cars stood up to the test of time really well. We also have this 2007 convertible that's ready to go home today. It also was in for a front engine kit, a bunch of other stuff. We'd previously done the Morimoto headlights in this several years ago. And one of the main things he had that was a problem was the spring bumpers, or the ride height feet on the front spring of this car. The rubber was completely gone, so he had metal on aluminum on his lower control arms. So we put fresh bumpers on there, restored the ride height so he's not scraping over everything when he's driving. And that gentleman should be here today, and one more car going home. And as is usual here at C&S Corvettes, we tend to get trends of cars. One week we'll have 6 magnetic red cars here. Next week we'll have 4 white C4 coupes or C5 coupes. Well, we got 2 Millennium Yellow coupes here today. And this second one came in because the owner can't figure out why he has no power electrically at all. So haven't even had a chance to put our hands on this one yet. It was kind of dropped off just spur of the moment. So I don't even really have him on the schedule. And he's like, keep it as long as you want. Well, as you can see, we don't have a lot of room for extra stuff around here. So we're going to try to get to this car in the next day or so, figure out what's going on electronically and get him back on the road. Now this is something a little bit different. This is a 1963 Corvette split window coupe, tuxedo black over black, 4-speed with the high horse small block. The gentleman who owns this car is a really, really great dude. One of my favorite customers, and I love all my customers, but this guy's just outstanding. Cool as a cucumber. Also has a C8 Z06, and he's on the list, I think, to get the new ZR1. So we'll see what happens with that. But this car came in just for some little things. Turn signals aren't canceling. Wiper switch isn't working. One of the headlights doesn't like to revolve all the time. Biggest thing it's here for, and we're actually going to give this to our upholsterer at a separate location. It's getting heat shielding put in under the carpet and brand new ACC carpet. This car is going to be even nicer when it leaves here, which is kind of hard to do, but this is absolutely a gorgeous vehicle. And as much as I love seeing it here, it's always one of those things when you have a car like this in your shop, it's like, please, please, please don't let anything happen to it while it's here. But so far, so good. This is about the 8th time we've seen this car, so always cool to have it around. And whenever like customers come by, they're like, oh, which is nice. If you watch our shop walk around videos, and the last one I did, I told you about the 09 Z06 that had come in because it had rodent damage and rodent nests built in the engine, which then caught fire when the owner was driving the car. So we are currently in full-blown deep dive into this car. As you can see, we have removed quite a bit of the wiring, most of which has been chewed by rodents in multiple locations and or burned from the rodent nest fire that was on top of the right-hand exhaust manifold. We've secured we were able to locate a OEM never installed engine harness for this car, which, believe me, finding that was no fun, but I'm so grateful we did. And this is the front lighting harness and the front wiring harness for all the other stuff. There's more wiring laying around here that we had to rip out and replace because all of it was either chewed or burned. We are about 50% of the way through this job. I know we're going to be able to save the car, but this is why you don't want rodents near your car. If you have a rodent problem in your garage or in your area, take measures to make sure that there are as few rodents as possible. Kill as many as you can because they will straight up kill your car and or burn it to the ground. Do not allow that to happen. Thankfully, this gentleman's insurance is covering it under rodent damage. If it wasn't, he would be spending $15,000, $18,000 just for parts and labor. And finally, just to give you a little glimpse into what we have to do sometimes to get the parts we need, we do salvage here at C&S Corvettes. We buy cars, Corvettes that are damaged or tired and aren't nice enough to be repaired, and we part them out. And right now, our parts manager, Chris, has this car coming apart because he sold the LS1 engine out of it to a guy locally to put into an airboat. Believe it or not, we sell a lot of LS1 engines here, and almost all of them are not going back into cars. They're going into airboats in the Everglades because they have plenty of torque, they're light, and they're very efficient. So as you can see, we've got the transaxle, the rear suspension, and the torque tube out here. That'll be a good donor torque tube for somebody who's just too messed up to use. Front suspensions come out. And while we're in here, you can see some of the things that we talk about all the time. This is your left-hand gas tank and your right-hand gas tank. What you'll notice, though, you can tell this is an earlier C5 because the fuel pump and sending unit are located in a way that you can get them out of here without dropping the tank. In 2003, they went to the style that they used all the way through 2013, where you have to pull the entire tank and the sending unit comes out from the top. This was a much better design. I don't know why they ever changed it. Oh, and quick tip, you've heard me talk about spring cleaning tips. Spring cleaning on a C5 always means cleaning out the udders on the car in that well underneath at the bottom of your windshield. Now, I've shown you, we'll see the ones on the other side. The one on the passenger side is the one that everybody has a hard time getting to, and here's why. It's really, really long, and it comes down along the frame rail right next to where the ECM mounts. So you have to actually remove the little splash panel to get to it, but then you can empty it from there. So this is the only one you have to remove a body panel to get to empty and clean out. The three on the other side, however, 1, 2, 3, you can get to by reaching in from the top right next to the brake booster and master cylinder, and you can empty these out. And you can see these have not been emptied because they're still full of gunk. So make sure some C5s have 2, some C5s have 3, depending on the year. These are located in the same place. You want to clean these and you want to clean that other one before you start taking your car out for spring, because you do not want that well to overflow, because when it does, it's going to overflow into your passenger compartment, and that's no bueno. So that's today's shop walk around, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you had any questions about some of the cars that we have here right now or about what we're doing to them, by all means, put it in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we do, and we'll see you again soon.